said to put it in rate terms. So we were visiting about what Juice Plus might do for this gal, because she is not able to work all the time, runs a fever. I mean, it was just incredible. So I think her neighbor is now really interested in talking to that gal and seeing what we can do for her, which was really kind of a fun thing this afternoon. Not fun because of all that, but just to know that what we have can be introduced to her very slowly and gradually, and hopefully make a difference. She has small children, and she needs to live long enough to rear those kids. So I'm really excited to see what kind of an effect all of this conversation and hopefully getting this gal on it will do. Jennifer, have you heard of Stills?
I haven't. I've never heard of that. But they've got all of these crazy autoimmune things, combinations now that they call different things. So no, I haven't heard that one.
I hadn't either. She said it's just like it's spelled just like it sounds if we wanted to look it up. Still, and then put an S on the end.
Well, when you get down to it, we know the function. What?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, when you get down to it, we know the, the mechanisms of the autoimmune category, and Juice Plus helps. We've got how many studies that show that our immune systems are improved and come into homeostasis and balance, and whether that autoimmune is presented this way or that way in your connective tissue, or, however it's showing up, that foundational piece is, I think.
Yeah.
Good job.
Definitely. And just like, we hear all the time, good nutrition is going to help your body work more along the lines of the way it's supposed to. And, bad nutrition will make whatever you're dealing with worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, so Ellen, are we good to record now?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being patient there.
We got to hear another amazing win. So, okay, so I get to introduce Jennifer. For most of you know, Jennifer and I have known each other since we were kids, and it took me a long, long time of her telling me about Juice Plus to really be interested. And I will just tell you, I still am amazed that for the 6 years that she kept telling me about Juice Plus and I wasn't taking it, it never affected our friendship. She was so patient and loving with me. And that's it's a huge lesson, right? Because we all struggle with people that we want to be on Juice Plus so badly, and we want on our team so badly. And it's just a matter of we have to love them where they are and, wait for their time, not necessarily our time. But once I started taking Juice Plus, and it made such a difference for me, and then I wanted to grow up and be just like Jennifer. And you guys, I think you guys all know Jennifer, but she and her husband, Sean, have helped, I'm going to say literally thousands of people to not only get healthier, but to reach financial goals, to work this business and get to at least on the path to where they want to get financially. And it's just incredible. And Jennifer is just incredible. And I think one of my favorite things is to do three-way calls. I can't tell you how many three-way calls I've done with people on my team with her, talking about their why when people are really struggling with what their why is. And Jennifer is just brilliant at helping to kind of dig that out. So that's one of the things she's going to talk to us about. So Jennifer, I will let you take it over.
Thank you, Janice. Yes, Janice and I had lots of shenanigans when we were young. And fun. It's so cool that we get to do this business with friends and family and the people that we love and want in our lives, want to spend time with. It's just so magical. I can't imagine anything better. So, and I think you guys all know my story. 27 years in the business. It's been amazing. I could go on, and I think you guys all know our business story and our journey and where this business has brought us in life. I just pinch myself over. It's just, I can't even fathom that, that we get to enjoy the life that we enjoy. And so much of that is because of this business. It's because of this Juice Plus virtual franchise. And I get asked the question a lot, why do you keep going? Why do you work as hard as you do? You could retire, you could kick back and the checks would still keep coming. And you know what? They're right. They're right. I could do that. And, that we have taken chunks of time. We took 15 months on our sailboat. That was amazing. That was a big, big decision, big choice. But how amazing that during all that time, our checks never went down. Now we've built a humongous business, to allow that to happen. And we have amazing leaders like the people that are on this call right now that allowed that to happen, and a system and a well-coached and well-trained team. But the freedom ultimately and the choices that this can bring is amazing. But I couldn't wait to get home and jump right back into my business. And that's exactly what we did. Literally, it's when we got back on land, boom, we were off and running again. And the reason is because I love it. I love what I do. I love the people. I love the mission. I love the personal growth that this business brings about. I'm very much a work hard and play hard person. We're kind of a work hard, play hard family, actually. And that's a great formula for us. And I love that. And, I have thought about that before. It's like, okay, what would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? It's like, I would be super bored. I would probably not feel near the fulfillment that I do with this. And so the bottom line is I love what I do. And there was a book, and some of you, Janice, I know you did this. I can't remember, Kim and Ellen, if you guys did The Power of Full Engagement. Do you remember that book? The Power of Full Engagement by Tony Szilard. I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic book that really does cause you to dive deep and look at your whys and look at what motivates you, what drives you. What your purpose is, what your reasons are. And we did a 10-month kind of workshop ongoing with the author, Tony Szilard. He used to come on once a month with us, and we worked through these exercises. I wish I probably have that notebook around somewhere, because we did a lot of work on our why. And we dug really deep, and he takes you right into exercises. And I'm sure you guys have heard the one where you're sitting around a table, at the end of your life, right? You're old and you've got your favorite people there. And, it's really a visualization of what your life meant. What did you accomplish? What did you contribute? What are you left with at the end of all of that, and where do you want to be? So you're projecting yourself out. And it was such an interesting exercise. All of those are, because when we started in our business, our why was financial. Boom, period. That was it. We needed to make money. At that time it was water filters. I think you guys know that. It was a good product. I felt good about sharing that. But we had graduated from college. We backpacked around the world for a year, came back broke, penniless, didn't have our jobs yet. We were kind of in that process of getting our real job. And somebody introduced us to this. And I saw it as a way to just make some extra money with a good product. That's it. And that was good fuel for activity, because we really needed it. We were living in an apartment that would literally fit inside the size of our master bathroom suite. and closet. And Janice, you remember, you saw that apartment. And so we needed to earn income, and there is nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes people have a hang up if they're wise about money. It's not. You know what? It's a good thing to have your financial feet on the floor, to have a safety net, to have that peace of mind and financial security. It's important, you guys. And I'll tell you right now, times are pretty tumultuous, and I don't see that getting any better anytime soon, personally. I'm no financial whiz or guru, but I think everybody needs to take care of your financial peace of mind and your security. It's important. So that is a fine reason to be doing this. Don't feel like it's not, because it is. But after you start making money for a long time and you get that security piece and you feel good about that, your whys can start to change. And your why might not have anything to do with money. People do this for all kinds of reasons, right? Financial's one. The mission, is huge. Tons of people, I would say more people than not in our business, are doing it because of the mission to help people get healthy. Maybe they had great results themselves, life-changing results, or not. They just get it, and they want to help people get healthy. That is awesome. What a great place to come from. Your why is personal to you. It's nobody else's. Don't look to anybody else to see what theirs is. You can't copy it, right? And at the end of the day, for me, I will share this with you because we did a lot of work on this. The end of the day for me, my why is about raising consciousness of people. And I can look at it 100 different ways, and I always circle around and come back to that core thing of what I love to do. And I call it raising consciousness, but it's really empowering people. It's lifting people up. It's, it's helping them to function at a higher level in some way, and really you have to have your health piece done before that probably comes. It's like Maslow's hierarchy, remember? I mean, it's like you got to get your housing and your food and those basic things taken care of before people start moving up that scale to where they're actually thinking in terms of society and community, and even bigger into spirituality and all of that. So for me, that gets me excited. That may or may not get you excited, but that's what gets me excited. Like at the end of the day, at the table, when I'm sitting there and I'm however old I am, I want to feel like, okay, I'm going to hear, well done, well done, good and faithful servant. Like that's what I want to hear. And it's the ripple of what this business does that really turns me on too. It's like, okay, you get that one-on-one time, but as we're lifting up leaders, wow, what are they going out and doing? It's duplicating, it's replicating. There's that ripple effect of positive energy out there, and really solutions and hope and all of those things that are so needed on the planet today. In our country, I've never seen such division and so much just upset. And it's like, boy, we can deliver something that is so cool, and a solution. And I love that. Now, does it make me cry? No. I don't think I ever cried about my why. Janice, you were talking about that earlier, that some people are like, oh, well, my why doesn't make me cry. It's like, that's okay. It doesn't have to. But it does give me a sense of purpose, okay? It gives me a sense of, yes, I am enjoying what I'm doing. This is important to me, and I feel like it's making a difference. In our business, one of the greatest things is we're self-employed. It's the American dream, right? We get to be self-employed. One of the most challenging things is we're self-employed, okay? There is no boss here telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. We are here to guide you and direct you and help you and support you and be your greatest cheerleader. But at the end of the day, we can't do it for you. You have to do that. And, ultimately, your schedule, the discipline of doing the activities that we do in this business, usually it involves talking to somebody, right? We're either inviting people to take a look, or we're following up with them, or, you know, we're just always about that next step and moving them forward in their journey of discovery. And it takes some discipline to do that. And there are days where you might not feel like doing that. So what drives you? You know, what is going to get you through those bumps? It is your why. It's your purpose. It's your reason for doing this. And I want to read you something. This is kind of old. I pulled this out of my archives. This is by Ralph Marston. I've always enjoyed his little daily, what did he call those? The daily motivators. This one's called Live on Purpose. It says, you're not really hungry. You didn't really want it. You don't really need it, but you see a cookie and you eat it. You can relate. Why? Because it's there and there's really nothing else to do at the moment. Did you enjoy it? Maybe it tastes good for a second or two, but then it knocks your blood sugar out of balance and the guilt sets in and you wonder why in the world you even did it. Is your life controlled by random events? Are you at the mercy of haphazard circumstances? Only if you allow yourself to be. Your circumstances control your life if you let them. They can be very compelling, and they'll be extremely destructive in the long run, because random circumstances don't know, and they certainly don't care about what you desire from your life. Think about that for a minute. So when you depend on fate to bring you joy and fulfillment, you'll be continually disappointed. As soon as you decide to do it yourself, though, the results improve dramatically. Fate will run your life if you let it, but you won't like what you get. Not at all. So decide to take control. Decide to live on purpose. Live with a reason. Act with a plan. It's fully within your ability to do so. And as you do, your life will be transformed into the best you can possibly imagine for it. And I think this says so much, because let's face it, if you're not acting on a plan, if you're not moving forward in those steps that we know move things forward, it will be random what's happening. And I think you could talk to all three of the national marketing directors that I see on the screen will tell you that they acted with a plan to get to national marketing director. They didn't just throw their hands up and go, hope it happens, right? It's not going to happen that way, trust me. So this is why the reasons, the whys are so important, okay? And if your reasons are powerful enough, okay, they become a force that drives us. And if your reasons are compelling enough, you'll find the solutions, right? You'll find the how-to, and you'll find the persistence that you need to do it. Reasons attract solutions, you guys. And that's why you hear at the conferences when the NMDs walk across that stage, I mean, person after person after person, you will hear a really big reason before they decided to turn it into action to get them to national marketing director. Some people come in with that reason. Sometimes life happens and something changes and the reason comes, during the business. Doesn't matter. But I'll tell you, there's something when you make a decision and you decide to do it, and it's the reason behind it that makes it go forward. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I have the ability, I have the intelligence, why are things not moving for me like I want them to be? It may be that your reasons aren't big enough. So let's explore that for a minute. I'm going to hope that you guys have a piece of paper in front of you. And I'm going to give you just a minute to write down what is your reason, your why, your purpose, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's all the same thing for doing the business. I want you to think about that. Make it real. Okay, so hopefully you've got something down, right? Now, to get to somebody's why, often I find myself doing this when Janice said digging out somebody's why, right? This is the process. So whatever you wrote down, I want you to ask yourself, why is that important to me? Or what difference is that going to make to me or my family? Why is that important? And I want you to write that down. Kind of like peeling back the onion, like that deeper level underneath.
About it. Or you can have it first thing in the morning, I guess. No, you brush your teeth tonight. You take your antibiotic in the morning, I guess. No, it's under family loss. It's gonna be awful hot tonight, Liz. Up in the radio stuff down. No, she was. She was.
Okay, now we're going to take that one more step deeper. Whatever you just wrote down, I want you to ask yourself, why is that important to me? What difference is that going to make to me or my family? Why is that important?
Gosh,
There's a sheet that a lot of us have worked on called the 30 Reasons, which is like 30 reasons why I love my Juice Plus business, or I love it, or I enjoy it, or I respect it, or why I'm doing it. And it's interesting because whenever I would get those sheets back from people, I could usually see a theme running through. There would be a handful of things with a similar theme, and that's where I would always know there was some kind of a core issue going on in there that they were tapping into. And I mean, just off the top of my head, so this process that we just went through might look like, okay, what's my reason? So I can stay home with my kids, right? Well, why would that be important? Okay. I've heard so many different things, you guys. And one that sticks out would be because my mom couldn't stay home with me when I was little. And it's like, okay, well, why is that important? Like, what difference did that make? Because it made me feel like blah, 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 right? This is where the tears usually come, okay? When people get down to that level, that core gut level of a feeling or an emotion attached to something. I remember one of my leaders, when we were doing that exercise, and it's like, okay, that first layer was like, oh, so I can make choices. It's like, oh, okay, good. Why is that important? Well, so we can vacation and we can do this and we can do that as a family. I'm like, okay, good. And why is that important? And what she got down to, which made her start bawling, was just she realized she had never felt a sense of freedom before in her whole life, because she had a dad that was very, and, just through her marriage, everything, she'd never felt like she had the freedom to make choices. And I mean, it got her to her core and just changed everything for her. But you got to dig deep underneath there. So let me just ask, for you guys, did anybody uncover anything for yourself that, and maybe it's something you already knew, but I'd love to hear from maybe one or two people about what you got to with your why, with your reasons.
Well, Jennifer, one of mine, we discovered as we were redoing wills this summer that in Kansas, you are responsible for your spouse's health care until you are broke. And they will leave you with your house and your car. Well, if you're broke, you obviously can't afford either one of those. And so your alternative to keep from doing that is to get a divorce. Well, we really don't want to do that. And I don't want to go broke. And I don't want my kids paying for our health care. My health is good. Eddie's is not. I have long-term care. He does not. And so if we go broke, not only then do we not have anything to live on, and it's embarrassing, but then the kids, I don't want my kids to feel like they have to be responsible, and I don't want to drain their finances because they have kids that, I mean, they want to do things with my grandkids, and so do I. And so as I went deep enough, I don't want to be a burden.
Yeah, I don't want to be a burden. Awesome. Well, Kim, yay. You got a mom that's planning and preventing. I love that. Good. Thank you, Peggy. Good. Does anybody else have anything to share? And I realize sometimes these things are personal, but if you have something you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it.
Well, I just want to say thank you for telling us that it's okay if our reason is money.
Yeah.
I recently discovered, as I was talking to my sponsor, that, oh my gosh, that really is my reason. That's why I've been hitting it so hard, and that's why I've been, doing this work, because we are struggling so bad financially and drowning. And I don't know who it was that said it at conference, that they said, or maybe it was Branson Boot Camp, but they said something about that they have a bigger shovel. They need to shovel themselves out of debt, and they have a bigger shovel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the bigger shovel.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this.
Yes, you can.
And so that's my reason, is it is financial. And Peggy, oh my gosh, you totally hit the nail on the head when you said you don't want your children to be, I think you said embarrassed or whatever. I don't know what you said, but it struck me. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. And that's deeper than the question that I answered, the third question. I don't want my children to be embarrassed because they have torn up shoes, or that we can't go places because we don't have the money for that. And I've never said, oh, we don't have enough money for that. I've listened to Bob enough to know that that's not something you want to say to your children, but I've discovered that is my why.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a powerful why.
It's okay. Because you feel like you have to be the hero. You have to be somebody who's saving somebody or saving families. And yes, that's part of my mission, is that I want to reach out to young families and help young families. Especially, that's my heart. But yeah, it's okay to need the money too.
Absolutely. It's a powerful why. And you know what? Along the way, how cool is it in our business that your success means that you've helped a whole bunch of people. I mean, it's amazing. What an incredible formula that we get to have. I mean, seriously, I love that. You're doing your business, you're doing good. So that comes along with it. That's great. Good, Tiffany. I mean, just hold that picture of, what next year is going to look like. What would it look like? Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Yay. Thank you. That's great. So the why, those reasons then are what fuels your goals. Okay. So it's like your why and your reason fuels your dreams and your goals, right? So there's your fuel for the goal, which is more specific. And I would really encourage you guys, this isn't a goals training, that's a whole different thing, but think about your next goal. I love conference to conference goals. What does that look like? And give your goal a what, a name, what is it? Name it. What's the place? Conference is a good one. What's the time? What's it feel like? Put all of that behind your goal, all right? So that you can taste it, see it, feel it, and know what it is that you're going for, all right? And whether that's a position, whether it's a certain level of income, whether it's a club level, whether it's what your team looks like. For me, very quickly, what happened was my goals became about my team. How many promotions, how many this, and, who am I helping, again, to lift up? Who am I empowering in their lives? That's what feeds me. And so that's what my goals became about. And it worked. That's what drove me. So you got the goals, and then that is what fuels your action. Okay, the action piece comes from that. And again, I want you to get real with what your action is. And you guys, I feel like a lot of times people will have their reason and they'll make their goal thinking that they're fully committed and they're fully in, but their actions they're not congruent with the goals, right? And a great way to determine that is look at your calendar. Does your calendar reflect what you are setting as your goal? What's your event schedule look like? What are those daily things that feed the whole structure? What we're doing daily in terms of Zooms and Facebook events and our wine and wellnesses and one-on-one conversations and luncheons, all of that stuff on that bottom layer, those are our daily events in the event structure. Those then feed into some of the other bigger events, which feeds into like your regionals and your boot camps and things like that, which feeds into the conferences. But the work happens here. So what's your calendar look like? Do you have gaps in, we prospect, we, again, invite into a next step, an exposure and a next step. We follow up on that and we invite to the next thing. That's what we're doing. So what's your calendar look like in that? Because there is a lot of emotional distress that comes with setting a goal and saying you want this and having your actions that don't match that. Don't do that to yourself. Be real, okay? Be real. Make them congruent. Like you got the fuel, you got the goal and the picture, what you're picturing in your mind, and you got the activity to back it up. It's magic, okay? And the beautiful thing here is you get to choose. It is totally up to you. It's not our goal for you. It's your goal for you. There is no right or wrong answer here. You are thoroughly in charge. You get to decide. And, as leaders, our arms are wide open. Our arms are wide open for whoever wants to step in, and do this and play. And not everybody's going to want to do that, you guys, on your team. You're gonna have people join you. I'm sure you already know this. Sounds great, looks great. You think they're going to be awesome, and they do nothing or next to nothing. You would think after all these years I would know and be able to spot people, and I still can't. I still get surprised between people that I thought were going to be awesome and knock it out of the park, and they really fizzled, and people that I did not think would be the ones, and they were the more persistent and kept at it, and they're rocking it out now. So you never know. It's like there's a percentage game there. And so don't be frustrated by that. We're giving the opportunity. We are shining the light. We're providing the tools, the training, the community, all of that for people to step into. And some will and some won't. And that is okay. And some will take years, like Janice, to come along. And that is okay. And when they're ready and those life circumstances change, here we are. Come on along, step into it. And that's a great way to think about how we do this. And so last but not least, I want to talk about this time of year, okay, as we're moving into the holidays, right, which sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge for some, and for other people, it's interesting because every year I see it. Every year I see people who totally step out of their business and just kind of let everything drop over the holidays, right? Which does not set them up for a great 2017. It's their choice. They can do it. But boy, when you let your momentum just drop, it's, you know, it's not great, because then you're really trying to generate momentum again and get back into activity in the beginning of 2017, which is an awesome time. I mean, things should be hopping in January if you did some stuff through the holidays. And every year I see other people who have quite a different mindset that is like, I'm going to see a ton of people. I'm going to see a ton of people I don't normally see out and about, out of the house, shopping, you know, all the stuff that you can do. And their businesses thrive because they are planting seeds, because they're sharing the story, because they're being mindful about their Juice Plus and the reason they're doing this, right? And so you get to choose in that. And in that book, The Power of Full Alignment, I remember a particular story in there that I've always remembered. And these guys were, actually, this was a different book. Sorry. Oh, shoot, now I forgot. Schwartz and, anyway, it was a great book. I can't think of the name of it. It'll probably come to me. But they were coaches that in the tennis world, super high-level people that used to help the world-class tennis players with their mindset, okay? And what they realized after watching just, you know, hundreds of hours of video of tennis players and all of this, they realized that the top tennis players in the world had a ritual in between tennis points, in between points. And I remember they said at that level, they're all so good. You know, there's not much separation. But they said that the difference was the top people, the winners, had this ritual of rest in between each point. You know, they might be, you know, smushing their strings around or spinning their racket or something that caused them to just take an exhale and take a deep breath. And there was actually just a moment of refocus and rest that would happen in between those points. And, you know, they made the point that in our lives, that's a great way to run our lives also. You know, he called it corporate athletes. I would call us entrepreneurial athletes. You know, we're like Juice Plus athletes, where it's not a marathon. You know, it's not a long, drawn out marathon. It's more like you go and rest, go rest, go rest, go rest, go rest. And that is how I do my business. And you can boil it down to your day. Okay, even smaller, you know, your morning, your afternoon, your day, to where, okay, maybe you're going to work for 2 hours and then go for a walk or go get some exercise or whatever's going to rejuvenate you. You know, listen to music or play with the kids or, you know, whatever makes you happy. And it could be just for a few minutes. And in that time, you get that rest and you get that reset. And you connect with the fact that you are doing just that, a little rest. And I always view the holidays as that. Not for 5 weeks, you know, not from now until the end of the, you know, new year. But it's like when you can appreciate your time with your family or your time doing something that you love, and connect it as I'm rejuvenating. I'm really taking this in and enjoying this moment, this cup of tea, this glass of wine, right? And then even taking it another step forward and because of my business, because of what Juice Plus has done for me, I am like triply enjoying this moment. I've worked hard and now I'm playing hard and I'm enjoying the fruits of that. And I really try to be mindful of that. When I'm out going for a run or a bike ride in the middle of the day, or, you know, when I was playing tennis, it's just like, wow, I get to do this because of my business. How cool is this? And I'm going to enjoy it and be really present with that. You know, it's like take it in that this flexibility, that maybe this new level of health and energy, maybe these gifts, right, that you were able to buy, whatever, is because of my business and what that's doing for me and my family and the difference that it's making. And that connection, it starts to fuel you on a whole new level. When you've got the gratitude for what this is providing on whatever level, if it's an extra couple $100 a month and that's making the difference for somebody, that their kids can play sports or not, how huge is that? So appreciating what you have and then holding that vision for what else is possible. When the going gets rough, you guys, you remind yourself of your why. You appreciate and have gratitude for what you have, and then you can just move it forward. So I would really encourage you through the holidays, enjoy that time and be present and have your family hat on and be fully present. And when you're doing your business, you got your business hat on, your Juice Plus hat on, and you're fully present with that in total appreciation of what all of it brings. So there you have it. I think I went a little long, sorry.
Hi, Jennifer.
Yes.
Hi, it's Rihanna, and I'm in a dark room. Can you I was in the middle of putting the boys to bed and cleaning the kitchen while you were doing the questions. I was thinking about them, but I wanted to write them down so that I could basically be able to refer to them for these new team members that I have, and when I get new team members, to help them find their why. Can you just repeat what those questions were?
Yeah. Why is that important to you? Or another way you could also ask, what difference would that make to you or your family?
Difference would that make?
Mm-hmm. And then the next level, and why is that important to you then? And if you keep peeling back that layer of onion, layer by you often will get down to that core juicy piece that when people say my wife makes me cry, that's what they're tapping into.
Mm-hmm.
And you may or may not get there. I mean, you may or may not have that. Like I said, I kind of grew up in a Beaver Cleaver household. I don't have a lot of drama that's driving me, in this way.
Right.
For me, it's a different thing. For me, it's just a feeling of purpose and empowerment and just a really good feeling about what I'm doing. But I can't say that I've ever cried over my wife.
I cried this week.
Awesome. You got a big, powerful why. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those that has a why that makes me cry. But I do understand, and I learned. What'd you say?
That you're not a crier.
Oh, I've turned into a big baby over the last couple of years. Trust me, believe me. But I think the significance, like what you're saying, like it doesn't necessarily need to make you cry, because I was in the midst of crying on the way to taking my daughter to, one of her follow-up appointments. And I just became very grateful. You're talking about feeling grateful and whatnot. And I just felt really grateful that I was able to do that. And, of course, my why has to do with never having to take a job so that I won't be able to be available for her. Never being able to have to, have both my husband and I working out of the house. And then having to have somebody else care for my daughter or homeschool my boys, but I was leaving a Voxer to the rest of my team and just really kind of, I guess, expounding on the fact that if it doesn't make you cry, make sure that it's strong enough. Mm-hmm. And I was corrected because literally like a day or two later, someone said, I think it was Janice, that it sent something, a Voxer or something about your why doesn't need to make you cry. And I was like, oh, great. So now I need to go back and kind of expound on that. But I understand that it doesn't need to make you cry. It definitely makes me cry. But I hear what you're saying. You're saying that it just needs to be able to drive you to the point to where, like you said, your activity is going to be equal to the greatness of your why, the significance of your why.
Well said. Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate this because it's helped me to be able to think, further on that. So.
Yeah. And it might do this where, there are times where you just tap into that emotional space and really get there. And, does that need to happen every day? That sounds exhausting. No.
No, and it doesn't happen every day, but every now and then.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, no, you got it. And that's awesome that you had that experience though. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I liked you relating that to a marathon because my mind immediately went to school. It's like we work and then we have recess and then we come back and work again.
That's right.
And then we have another recess.
It's a good formula. It works.
I just never put it in those terms in relationship to what I'm doing, unless I am at school. And but that's a whole different.
And then it's built in. And you guys living your life this way, it takes some discipline. And especially at first, if you're not in the habit of it, you got to get really intentional and think about it and plan it. But what happens is as you start doing it, then it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it so much. I don't have to think about how I run my business. It is autopilot for me, and you know what? It's easier for me to do it than not do it. It's not like I have to push myself to do my business. I have to stop myself from doing my business because I really enjoy it. I do. I have to go, okay, no, I need to go do family time. And so that can happen when you get momentum going and you get a team growing and, it's fun and there's cool stuff happening. It's really exciting. It's fun. So, in the beginning, it does take discipline though, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And along those lines, Peggy, to use your analogy, I think sometimes you have to plan your recess too. I know sometimes I get into the rut of, dealing with my kids and, working my business and just all the stuff that needs to happen. And I forget that whole, I need to just take some time for me and take a hot bath or go get a massage or, do something that's going to refresh me.
And we're a lot more effective when we do that. When we do those things, a lot more effective and happier and better mommies and better team leaders and everything else. Yeah, be good to yourself. Put yourself at the top of your list because if you're not functioning well, nobody else is either. You can't run yourself into the ground. Okay, anything else? Ellen, Kim, any?
This was phenomenal. I am totally blown away because after 10 years of being part of your organization, I feel like I heard things I've never heard from you tonight. And it's cool to think that I was a brand new VF when I met you guys at my first regional, and I went there very skeptical. And you guys were leaving on that boat trip, and I think that's when I got a why, because I was like, why not? And I'll say this, why not have some choices? So many of us come from, you kind of get into that, most people live in more of a paycheck to paycheck mentality, kind of getting by in life, looking forward to Fridays, right? And, that was probably my background a little bit after so long in corporate America. And you realize that this opens up choices where, it might be something as simple as I can look forward to going to yoga at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and I can do that. But also really bigger things. And, as I'm raising kids, Jennifer, when you asked that question tonight, it did make me tear up because my number one why has always been to be there for my kids, for them essentially to have that experience of both kind of a stay-at-home mom, but also an entrepreneur mom. I think that's awesome to model for them. And as they're getting older and we're out of those toddlers, crazy survival years where, you don't get a lot of positive feedback necessarily, and they're turning out to be really cool kids. And so when you ask that question, why does that make a difference? I'm like, oh my gosh, if you took me out of the function that I'm in with them now, it would make a huge difference to them. And I love this path that we're on. And I only have 11 more years before they go start their adult life. And I love that. I just love the time freedom, and I want to give that to more people. I really want to help more people get that.
Awesome. It's a great why. I love that.
Well, and Jennifer, really, when I started working with you is right about, you came back from your boat trip, kind of right before, and then you were on your sail trip. And long story how I knew you a couple years before that, and Brad knew you long before that, which is funny. But what a great vision to see in the beginning. And even though for me, I didn't necessarily see my vision, you have coached me all along since you got back from your sail trip, which has been phenomenal for my personal growth. And for me, that's been the biggest, that has been such a huge part of this business. And my team that knows me now, but didn't know me before has no idea that I couldn't pick up the phone and talk to anybody. When I started this business, I was, well, except my mom. Okay. And just the growth and what for me that has done, my kids, I have that, this is all they really know that I've done. And it's given me that, and Ellen said it, the time freedom for me has been the biggest driving force for me. Is I wanted that time with my kids, and having one just come home yesterday from college, and the other one about ready to, a year and a half left, and they're both off on their own, as Ellen just said. Thank you. But that time freedom that I have been able to have with them, it's just priceless, to me. And I want to be able to be able to help other moms to have that. And the financial, our story's up and down with the financial piece. And, right now that's a big part of my why is the financial piece is in there. But in the past, it's given us choices to let Brad, make some choices in his work. And that has been huge along the way. And right now that for me, it is the driving force, because I want to live out my values, and to be able to live out your values, you have to have money.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my why is helping others be able to do that as well. Because I think when you can live out your values, then it's the integrity piece. And that's that discord for a lot of people is this is how, these are my values, but here's my choices, and they don't align. And that's what I'm realizing is that's a hard place to be in. And I want people to be able to be in harmony with those and live out their values.
I love that you said that, Kim, because it makes me really think of the holiday season that we're coming into and living out our values. And, I tell my kids over and over, it's not, Christmas is not about gifts and stuff. And that's a fun piece of it.
I already
but
know
that. Oh my gosh. But it's an opportunity this time of year, especially to live out our values. But you know what? If we're broke, guess what? We're just thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about how we're going to get by. And if we have abundance, we're thinking about where can I give? Where can I make a difference? And it's just a great opportunity that this business gives us. And I think we have such a great culture of giving in Juice Plus. I get so excited because when I look at our team, I think, okay, you're the kind of people that when you're making 6 figures, you guys are going to go give a lot away. You're not going to hoard it to yourselves. I just know who you are. I know your hearts. You're going to go such a significant difference out there.
And you can do big stuff. And that's something that drives us too. We have some big charity projects and a lot of funding and a lot of time and thinking and caring and money. And it's needed, it's really needed. I love it. It's changing inner city youth and graduation rates and all of that, and truly making a difference. I mean, oh my word, so phenomenal. And then, I mean, you talk about our kids, you guys, I mean, just real quick, and I know we need to wrap this up, but, you know, I was able to go with Michaela for 2.5 weeks in Europe and do just an amazing mother-daughter trip through Europe before her study abroad program in Barcelona. And then John and I just went for a week, and she really needed us there. I mean, she did. She needed us there, and it was a big deal that we got to spend a week with her, and just had an absolute blast, of course, as well. And just this morning, they have a 10-day break. So weird. They have a 10-day break from December 1st to the 10th, and then they have like a week of classes, and then she comes home. It's such a weird schedule. But her friend group, you know, her American friend group, they're all going to Italy. And she and I had done Italy, and she just said, Mom, they're gonna be partying the whole time. And she just is like, I don't really want to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm online like in seconds, and I found like a yoga retreat for her to go to in Spain, in the Canary Islands. It's so cool. I'm like, I want to do that. And she's like so excited to do that instead of go, you know, party with all the kids in Italy. I'm like, that's awesome. Awesome that one, I could just go here, let me help you do that. It's more expensive than she would have spent in Italy, I think. So I'm going to help her do that. But just, you know, again, the values and all of that, I'm proud of the decision that she made. And she's going to have a blast. So anyway, choices, right? I mean, just, yeah, don't have to think about those.
Well, and I'll just jump in really quick. I know we're over time, but you know, Ellen and Kim, you guys both talked about being there with your kids, and I have 2 in college and 2 in high school, and I'm looking at, you know, being an empty nester, and my goal, I mean, the thing that instantly came to mind is I really need to live at the beach. Like, I decided this, and it's not just that's what I want to do. It's I need to, like, every aspect of me, the more I think about it, and some of you know about the vibrancy signature, but the more I think about it, every aspect of my personal vibrancy signature needs to be at the beach. And that's I mean, looking forward as an empty nester, instead of sitting in the same house, you know, stewing over, oh my gosh, my kids are gone, what am I going to do with myself? I have something to look forward to. I'm going to move to the beach, and what I've always wanted and always dreamed of is I'm going to have all of the toys, all of the fun stuff, so that as my kids get older and have families of their own, everybody wants to come to grandma's house because I'm going to be the fun grandma, you know, playing on jet skis in the ocean with them.
Well, we're going to snowbird, Janice, and we're going to Clearwater, so.
That's where my sister is. So,
Well,
you know, your goals can be about anything. And Tiffany, you said something about them being about money, and I'll tell you, the times I've moved forward in this business were when my goals had to be about money, and that's what really drove me. So there's nothing wrong with it.
Sean always says he loves when people to have a financial goal too. Even if you're mission driven and you're like, I don't care about the money piece, find something that you can attach a financial thing to, whether it's a new car or a college education for a kid or whatever. Find something that is that requires money, and have at least one money goal. Even if you don't think that's what drives you, it helps.
and even if you don't have a kid of your own, somebody else's kid needs some help for school. So adopt a kid.
Thank you for giving us that permission, because I felt selfish. I'm like, I should be thinking and caring about other people, but you can't care about other people until you take care of your own family. Like, you got to take care of things at home before you can be able to minister to other people. So,
and that's
and you are ministering. You are ministering to people through this business. I see this business as my ministry.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question about that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. Well, I hope that helped and some food for thought. And you guys can take this a lot deeper, you know, in your own time and your own work, and really get in there. And if you need help, you know, reach Upline because people can help you through this too.
Okay, and really quick, everyone has to like smile and look really happy because I'm gonna take a screenshot on Facebook. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
So funny.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been great.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so fun to see you guys all in here together. I love it.
This is an awesome group of people. Thank you, everyone. Jennifer, thank you so much. And I'm like so inspired. Yeah, this is awesome.
You're welcome. Well, if I don't talk to you before, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy every bite and every second with your family.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.